my computer. Did it say recording in progress? Okay. Hi, this is Rosemary DeTrolio from New Jersey. My business is Hands Alike by Rosemary, located in New Jersey, as I said. And this is my guest and my friend, Gina Tupaczewski from Be Calm Reiki in Long Valley, New Jersey. And I invited her here today because she is a phenomenal Reiki master teacher, as well as a person that does animal Reiki and lots of wonderful things for your pets and for you. So I wanted to have an opportunity to chat with her and let you know what she does for her business. How you doing, Gina?
I'm doing good, Rosemary.
Good, good. So the first thing I want to talk about, because we both do Reiki and we go about energy work very similarly. So I wanted you to describe, like, for your people, how would you describe like what energy is? Do you have a way that you describe what energy is, especially in relationship to their pets?
Sure. So energy is all around us. It's it can be positive or negative, and sometimes it can be stationary. So when you have a flow of energy, things are open and you feel calm and your pets are calm. And if there's a blockage of any type of that energy, you may see behaviors start to creep up in your animals, such as they may be anxious or they may be super hyper. These are ways that you could tell that an energy is blocked.
Yes, I've seen that with my own pets as well. And you know, when you work with the pet, you know, there's lots of things that come up. And I know you helped me when my pet transitioned, and they do tell you different things when you're working on them. So I'm going to ask you, is there something that a lot of pets want their owners to know, like in general? Like, what would you say many of the pets you've worked with want their owners to know?
Oh, it's funny. The common theme for most pets is they just want their owners to know that they love them. They just have so much unconditional love for us. And so sometimes it's a detriment to the animal because they take on our stuff. They they wind up being anxious because we're anxious. And so one of the things that they want to communicate to us is that they love us, but we also have to share with them how much we love them. And in order to show our love, we have to love ourselves first. We're able to share that love with our pets.
That is a great message. And I know one of the things that you do is not only work with the pet's energy, but help the pet owner to come in balance in the ways that you can. So when they're ready, sometimes the pet is ready before the owner, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do to get the owner on board after you've worked with the pet? Maybe they think they're just coming in for a pet that's not behaving, and you're finding out the pet's telling you more or wants you to know that their mommy and daddy need help. So how do you get a pet parent on board?
That's interesting because a lot of my clients I've gotten the pet parent through the animal. The animal is the one who's been crying out with their behavior that they need to transition, but it's basically because of the energy in the animal's home and how that animal feels. And so what will happen is I'll be doing sessions with the animal either at their home or long distance, and then I'll hear a voice that isn't my own. So I'm communicating with the animal. I have an example of a dog I was working with, and basically it was, my mom needs it too. Can you invite her in the room?
Oh, wow.
So I asked mom to just sit down and you know be present with the animal because they weren't really open to it. They just wanted to help their dog. But
Yeah.
little do they know that their dog wants to help them in return
Oh, love
because of that unconditional love going back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I know the animals do teach us so much, and I know that you work with all kinds of animals. And I know that you're really comfortable even with horses, which is very cool. So tell me about, like, I know you won an award years ago for being with horses. Tell me about that experience with horses.
Um, I grew up with horses. When I was younger, I was a pony clubber, and so I had a pony that I would you know do everything with, and he taught me all about what it is to be in charge. And so when you're in charge of a horse, it doesn't mean that you're bossing them around or anything like that. You're just showing them authority and you're showing them where the guidelines are and what you can do with that. when I'm sharing the Reiki energy or sharing energy with horses, what's interesting is they're a pack. So the pack leader will be the one to say, hey, it's okay, they can have this or not. And so what will happen is the strongest horse will come forward and they will initiate that they want the Reiki or they want the energy to, and then the other horses will come in.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Wow. So my other question was too, I know that, we both teach Reiki and there's a huge difference with how a person receives the energy of Reiki or how their pet would. And sometimes I could see, like, if a person doesn't know, it looks very different when you're working with their pet. So what would they see if they invite you in to do a session with their animal, either distance or in person? What would the pet owner actually observe or not observe while this energy is working on their pet? So would you
So I'll
describe?
start out with talking about when I go to the pet's home, and I'll use a dog as the example. And so basically, the owner has this impression that immediately the dog will want the Reiki. And so what I do is I tap in the night before and I ask if the dog is ready to receive Reiki. And most of the time it's a yes, but sometimes it's a no. So in the case that I'm giving the example, it was a yes, and I go into the home and I just make myself sitting on the floor, sending energy, grounding. And what I do is I create a Reiki bubble. And what that is it's an energy field that I invite the pet to either come in it or not. It's not an immediately hands-on touching the dog and creating this lovely space. However, once they're more comfortable, they'll move into the Reiki bubble and then they'll go into what I call the Reiki nap. And they just lay down and love on it. But one of the things that will change is they'll take it in so quick, they'll leave the Reiki bubble and the pet parent will think, oh, they don't want any more Reiki. It doesn't mean that they don't want any more. It just means that they stepped out of the bubble for a minute, and then I'll increase the bubble and kind of communicate whether or not they still want to receive, which means they're open to it. And so at that point, the pet parent is looking at me like, you're not doing anything. It's like, I'm sharing the bubble just a little bit bigger. And usually that means the pet parent's inside the bubble.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's cool. And I know you also do the long distance. I do long distance Reiki on people. I know that you do it on people and pets as well. So when you're sending to a pet long distance, let's say either a lost pet or even a pet that someone says, can you send long distance? What's that experience like for you on the other end when you're sending? And what experience do you get from the pet?
Well, when I initially create the connection for the Reiki, I'm listening for clues to whether or not the pet's ready to receive the Reiki. Once I'm tapped into the energy, I actually hear their voice and they'll tell me things like, yes, I'm ready to receive Reiki, or no, I'd rather have a cookie now. I mean, some of the things are quite funny because it sounds like a little kid in my head sometimes. And so once they begin to receive, if I've set up a window where the pet parent could see, they may all of a sudden be a little bit more relaxed, or they may need a drink, because with Reiki, you're shifting the energy. So when they drink, they're moving that energy throughout their body.
Right. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of people struggle when it's time to let their pet go to the other side. And I know we've all had struggles with losing pets. And I know some people are, as pet parents, we want them forever. But what advice would you give a parent of a pet that's ready to pass or that's very ill? And they're like, oh, I just want them to stay. What advice would you give a pet parent when it's that time?
Well, when it's that time, it's very hard. And you want to show love for your pet and you want to show them compassion. And the way you show them compassion is you encourage them to let go. You encourage them to leave this plane and let go of their pain. And what I would do is I send Reiki to a pet that's ready to let go to help with that transition in their mind, their body, and their spirit. It's the hardest thing to do, but I'm so humbled by it that the animals will let me do that with them and then they'll share that with the parent.
Yeah, that I know you did it for me when we lost my little pet, and it was a very smooth transition for her because of it. And you helped me a great deal. So I hope that other people can reach out to you and discover what you can do. I know there's many things that you offer, and I'd like you to first tell how people can contact you and some of the things that you offer through your business, Be Calm Reiki. So you might mention your, how they would contact you, or
Sure. Yeah. So I have a website. It's Be Calm Reiki, www.becalmreiki.com. Through there is also an email. It's Gina at becalmreiki.com. Also on my website, there's something called Calendly. It's a link where you can just schedule a 30-minute chat so we can get to know each other and see how we could work well together, whether it be a pet that you have that you want to share Reiki, or perhaps you're interested in a session for yourself, or you're interested in taking classes. I offer all kinds of things. Rosemary and I work well together. We actually have an event coming up in June that we're excited about.
June 10th. That's
June 10th,
right.
yeah.
Here.
And what else was I going to say?
Your cards, yeah, your cards. You mentioned your totem cards.
Yeah. So one of the things that helps with communication with the animals is I do animal totem and card readings. And so that means it's a totem animal is an animal that's surrounding you at that point in time. Some of them are for a lifetime, or some of them are just for a season. And so I have a conversation with you about what you're interested in learning about. Perhaps you're going through a life lesson and you want to know what animals are with you for that lesson, or perhaps you're just curious and you want to know more. Then we can just do a very basic question of where you're headed, or what your thoughts are with relationships or something like that. It all depends on where you are with your journey. I call my Reiki business the Reiki journey, because you're stepping into where you need to be, mind, body, and spirit, whether you're going to be working with animals or you're going to be working on yourself.
Beautiful. And I know they even offer something. I know when people get to level 2 in Reiki, they can go ahead and learn animal Reiki, but you also have developed a class where if someone doesn't want to work on people and they just want to be specific with animals, you have a course for that as well that they can also explore. Is that true?
Yeah, I do. So basically, well, I started out with you needed to be a Reiki 2 person in order to do animal Reiki, but there were many people that wanted to just do Reiki on animals. So I created a joined class. You have to commit to both classes, and they're 3 months apart, but you learn Reiki 1 for yourself, and you learn to be able to work with animals. I don't show you hand positions on people, because you're not working on people. You're going to be working on yourself, and you'll be working on your animals. So you have the time to develop your energy, which is what is needed for the Reiki 2.
I love that. And you know what's really, I know that we've discussed this with our animals, is that the more in balance you are, the healthier and happier your own pets will become. And I know when people try to, let's say, heal their animals and they're not in a good headspace themselves, it does not help their pet. In fact, the pet tries to help them. So I know you've experienced that. Would you speak upon that point about being in balance for yourself before you work on a pet?
Oh, sure. So, the energy in the universe are so interesting when it comes to, if you're not in balance, then appointments will not be made. Cancellations will happen. Unbeknownst to me, it's not my scheduling. It's because I have to check myself. I make sure before I work with a client, especially animals, that I'm grounded, I'm centered, and I'm clear. And the way I tap in is by doing self Reiki or doing some breathing and just connecting. One of the things that I really want to work with my clients when they are working with animals and learning is the heart to heart connection. The from your heart to the animal's heart, and you will begin to feel what they're feeling. Perhaps if they feel scared, all of a sudden you might not feel as this warm energy coming back. It may come back like little trickles or something. But if they're super exuberant and happy, you may feel this really big flow, and you start to tap into that. If you're not grounded and centered, then you won't feel that.
That's wonderful advice. So I'm going to mention again, we have an event coming up on June 10th, and Gina and I are speakers. I also have Ruth Ratliff as one of our speakers, and Shay Kennedy, who's a homeopath. And I'm going to do this event in hope. It's going to be limited by people. So if you want to contact info@rosemaryd.com, which is my email, or rosemaryd.com, Hands Alike by Rosemary in New Jersey, you can find out about the event and prepay your ticket for it. We're going to probably limit it to 20 or 25 guests, and we really would love to have you join us. It should be a fun event. Again, if you want to contact me, it's info@rosemaryd.com, and Gina, it's Gina@becomreiki.com, right? And we'd love to hear from you. If you have comments or questions, you could post them or email either one of us for more information about what we do. And thank you so much, Gina, for your time.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Appreciate it.